Hello once again. Welcome to Spinners.io Cryptocurrency Academy, your number one cryptocurrency training platform. Stay tuned and enjoy your training. In our previous lessons, we talked about the cryptocurrency, generally introducing it to each and every one of you and making you have a basic glimpse on what the cryptocurrency is all about. And then we also touched on the blockchain. Today, we will be giving you a much more detailed explanation on blockchain. Now, what is the blockchain itself? The blockchain is a list of transactions that anyone can view or verify. That is the simplest definition of the blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain, for example, contains a record of every time someone sends or receives Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology that powers them makes it possible to transfer value online in digital form without the need for a middleman like a bank or a credit card company. Now, you should know that on the blockchain network transactions, hundreds of thousands of transactions are constantly being computed and processed. And as stated earlier, due to the cryptographic nature of the blockchain, transactions carried out are always secure. A simple analysis of how the blockchain technology works is this. Let me just paint a picture. Now, you picture a chain you use for a ship's anchor, but in this case, every link on the chain is a chunk or a string of information. So every link on the chain which you use to anchor a ship is a string of information that contains transaction data of every cryptocurrency transaction carried out every minute and every second. And now we assume at the top of the chain you see what happens today, and as you move down, that is, as you go through the transactions, because each and every chunk of the chain is a network of transactions, as you move down the chain, you see the order or the previous transactions. And if you follow it all the way down to the anchor sitting at the bottom of the harbor, you would have seen every single transaction that has been carried out throughout the history of that particular cryptocurrency. This is how transparent the blockchain or the cryptocurrency technology is. Now, this gives the blockchain powerful security advantages. It's open, it's transparent record, it's open and then it's transparent. It's transparent record of a cryptocurrency's entire history is all or can all be seen. If anyone tries to manipulate a transaction, it will cause the link which is interwoven to break, and then the entire network will be able to see or will take note of what has happened. We can also call the blockchain a distributable ledger, which means it can record all the digital assets, money or digital money going into, out of and through the blockchain network, just like it is done in a typical banking system. But unlike the banking system, where these transactions are centralized or are recorded by individuals or single entity, thereby giving room for manipulations, as was stated in our first lessons, the blockchain is totally decentralized. Now, according to John Lackey, he says cryptocurrency is a system that meets up the 6 conditions which I will be mentioning to you. The first condition is the system does not or should not require a central authority. That means it shouldn't have a central governing body. It states it's maintained through distributed consensus. This means it is decentralized and it is not controlled by anybody or any individual. Now, the second characteristics of what a cryptocurrency should be like is that the system should keep an overview of the cryptocurrency units and their ownership. In essence, or what I'm trying to say is the system keeps an updated record of all cryptocurrency transactions that takes place at every point in time. Another basic or major characteristics of the cryptocurrency system is that the system defines whether a new currency units can be created. If cryptocurrency units can be created, the system defines the circumstance of their origin and how the ownership of those new units should be determined. And this means the system determines if new coins would be minted or if there can only be a fixed amount of cryptocurrency units on the blockchain technology. And if more cryptocurrency units would be minted, then it must be properly verified and the creation source validated. Now, some cryptocurrency are created and are a limited number of that particular cryptocurrency is minted. That means there cannot be more than that unit available on the market. A perfect example is the Bitcoin, which we will get to understand later in our lessons. Now, the fourth characteristic he mentioned was the ownership of the cryptocurrency unit. Now, ownership of the cryptocurrency unit can be proved exclusively cryptographically. Now, earlier in our first lesson, we said cryptography simply means encrypting information and ensuring that it's only the party that information is intended for that is able to decrypt it. Now, the ownership of cryptocurrency assets can be verified individually by two parties involved only. That means a third party cannot have access into the information or transaction going on between two individuals. Now, blockchain gives a unique identifier known as the transaction ID or the transaction hash, which is used to check the records of this transaction carried out between two parties, not more than two parties. Remember, now the fifth characteristic we talk about is that the system allows transactions to be performed in which ownership of the cryptographic units is changed. Now, a transaction statement can only be issued by an entity proving the current ownership of the units. Now, this goes further to prove the secure mode of operation of the cryptocurrency transactions, as only the person in possession of the cryptocurrency unit can give a description of the digital asset. So, cryptographic unit, only the person that owns the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency can prove his ownership over it. Now, a transaction statement can be issued by the entity that this is his own crypto asset and does not belong to anybody. So there is always a unique identifier whereby the owner of the cryptocurrency asset is able to lay claim or prove or have the single-handed access to his crypto asset. The last characteristic to talk about is that if two different instructions for changing the ownership of the same cryptographic unit are simultaneously entered, the system only performs one of them. It only performs at most one. This is done to ensure that the blockchain technology is not spammed with multiple entries at the same time. Now, when people try to run the same transaction on one particular chain at the same time, maybe from the same unique identifier, the system picks only one so that there will be no multiple entries on a single transaction unit. This is to avoid spammers or avoid people who want to scam the system, thereby making the blockchain technology system to become one of the most secure systems in the world today. Hope you enjoyed the lessons. For any question, please go to the forum and enter in your questions, as our professionals will definitely give you the right answers. Bye bye.